can message him on the chat if you have any issues. You can do that privately by in the chat where it goes to everyone. You can select the drop down, and then you can see Rob as the second option there to message him privately if you want. And then lastly, we as you know, we rely on memberships. So so if you haven't yet renewed your annual membership, please go to the website. And again, Rob's done a great job of automating and adding a new little cart for us to pay our membership there. Thanks, Peter. Back over to you.
Thank you very much. We have two apologies: Amanda Kirk, Alexandra Kirk, I should say, and Jenny Harley. Any other apologies?
John Thorpe.
John Thorpe. I should add that John Thorpe is our patron, so that's significant. Any other apologies? Okay, there being no further apologies, so we'll move on to proxies. Any proxies? No? No proxies. Thank you very much. We now have to approve the minutes of our meeting from 2019. Do we show the minutes on a slide?
We didn't. They were in the notice, so we don't have those on a slide.
Okay, so they're in the notice. Do we have a mover that the minutes of the annual general meeting of 2019 are a true and accurate record of the meeting?
Moved.
Moved Denise Goldstein, seconded
Christine first.
Phil Curry. Thank you, Christine. Phil got in first.
Did I beat Phil?
Okay, thank you very much. And now I'd like to hand over to Denise Goldstein for the treasurer's accounts.
Okay, everybody moving on. This is going to be very, oh wait, somebody's just coming. Hold on 1 minute. We're just admitting whoever that is.
That's Roxy Seraphin.
Okay, thank you for joining, Roxy. I'm just about to do the accounts. It's been a pretty good year, despite all the things that occurred after July. So the accounts are from July last year to June of this year. And we're trying to keep that as the ongoing mode that we do. What we've done is also we have put a new Easy Pay Way or Easy Way Pay, however you want to put it, on the new website, which has just been launched as of the other day. And so it should make life a little bit easier to renew. We all have agreed that we need to be looking at the donation side of it, which is the membership side of it. And part of the reason we do the donation and membership side of it is to ensure that we can cover websites or new website creation, the domain names, all the administrative pieces that are important. So, things like insurance and any of the miscellaneous costs that come up. So let me give you just a real quick brief on where we ended up at the end of June this year. With the main account, are you on there? Yeah. With the main account, we have a surplus of $3,822. We have slightly more than that at the moment, but at the end of the year, we were in the black for that. And as I said, the reason that we need the donations, which are tax deductible, is because we do have some administrative costs. And that comes out of the main Friends of Freshwater account. Now we have 4 other accounts that are active. And the reason we have those accounts is because we get grants and it's easier to manage expenditure on the grant so that we can settle it at the end of the period that we need to settle it. And so we have created separate accounts for each of the areas that we have special projects in. Some of the special projects are the garden account. So the community garden, which is on between Queenscliff Road and Crown Road. We have had several grants from government, but the expenditure is really around making that. You need to admit two more. Excuse
Okay.
me for 1 second.
Leslie and Catherine.
Okay, we're welcome, Leslie and Catherine, and we're just going through the accounts. The reason that we had that is, wait, Michael Vanderfield, everybody's a bit late, which is good. At least they're here. So we've got the community garden, and as you can see from the photo up there, that the garden has grown, and we have made it the guys that have done this have made it an absolute showpiece. And we've had lots of support from the group in the community garden, but also from Bunnings and other various sources. They've managed to source a lot of recycled material, but in that instance, you're looking at a shelter, and that was done through the accounts. Another one. And so we have a surplus of $10,374, which on a pretty much a weekly basis gets spent on various things, including supplies, plant supplies, timber, for building materials. They've done a spectacular job, and I wish I was a gardener, but I'm not. And if you go visit it, it is just remarkable. We have the Soldiers Avenue account of the Undercliff Reserve. Okay, Undercliff Reserve and Public Art. Peter has been leading a group of volunteers on the Undercliff Reserve, which is where the stairs are going toward Queenscliff, just behind Pelu, up Undercliff Road. And really, it was overrun by a huge amount of weed and noxious plants and things. And they kind of did a guerrilla gardening. What started as guerrilla gardening, I guess, pulling out weeds, ended up being supported by council, which was fabulous. And thanks, Trish, for the council. So I'm giving Trish the shout out. Thanks, Trish, for the council's support in all this. We have had a couple of grants over the years, and we are in surplus $3,599. The reason that we have that money is because we use a consultant, and usually it's Dragonfly, as help in making sure that they're doing what they need to do, and what they're pulling is the correct things, and anything they don't understand or know, they help understand and help the team with making sure that whatever goes in there is the right planting. And under that too, on that same page, we have public art. Now, public art's kind of slowed down a little bit, but we've done several things in and around the village, and hopefully we'll be able to move forward on some other opportunities in the new year. But we have a surplus of $921, and that was mostly from grants that went to things like the pods in the village, and some of the pavement, what do they call the plaques in on Soldiers Avenue. So that was, and various other small little things. And then we get to, I think we're done. No, we have one more.
Sorry,
Soldiers Avenue.
Yep.
Okay, so the Soldiers Avenue Stakeholders Group has done a remarkable job, and that's Wendy and Chris have been involved in that, along with other people in the community. They have done an incredible job. Can you move that, please? And we have had some unbelievable grants along that, and most around the centenary of Anzac. And I took somebody down that road one day and they were astonished. They were absolutely astonished. So good job. We have $13,696 surplus that will get spent. And hopefully we will continue to improve that. It's the last avenue of honor in New South Wales, and it has been an amazing journey from the people that were committed to it. So that's pretty much it. Anybody have any questions, concerns, want to share anything, want to correct anything? So thank you very much. I'm going to turn back to Peter. And thanks for everybody's support.
Can I move that the Treasurer's report be accepted as? Can I have a mover?
That's Phil.
I will.
Phil's moved. His little hand is up in the air. A seconder?
Second.
Seconded. Thank you very much. All those in favour?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now I'd like to call upon our returning officer, Sean King, who
Yes.
is acting vice our patron, John Thorpe, who is unwell. So Sean is acting in his stead. So Sean, we need to elect the various executive positions of the Friends of Freshwater. Do you have the list in front of you?
No, I
We
don't,
just-
but I think I think
Well,
it'll
we
come
put
up on the
that-
next screen, will it?
Yeah, we'll put that up.
Right, just 1 second. Okay.
Okay, so the current office bearers are as shown. And I have to say at the outset that they've done a fantastic job this year in terms of, and as you know, it's a very difficult year, but we've been meeting virtually every Wednesday morning.
Literally virtually.
Literally virtually every morning, every Wednesday morning, and we devote an hour each day for that purpose. And that's been a fantastic opportunity for us to get together in a non-threatening virus situation, and I think we've enjoyed the experience. So I'll just hand over to Sean to call for vacancies for the positions. All positions are now vacant.
Thanks, Peter. So I'd like to say that all positions are vacant, and thank you to all the members of the executive. And if we have any nominations, I guess we will start with, is it the president? Is that correct?
Yep.
I'll nominate Peter Harley.
Yes.
Second.
Do I have a second?
I will. Yeah, I'm,
Is that, sorry, is that you?
Tracy's done it.
okay. So Stacey's done it.
Take your choice.
Stacey's done it. In that case, there's no other nominations for president. I'll confirm that Peter Harley is now, or Peter Harley OAM, congratulations, Peter, is now the president of the Friends of Freshwater.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll
Yep.
accept that.
Well done, Peter.
Well done, Peter.
Congratulations, Peter, and you are now back in the chair.
Thank you.
For better or worse, Peter.
So, okay, thank you very much. And now we have call for nominations for vice president.
I'll nominate Phil Curry.
So Denise Goldstein nominates Phil Curry. Do we have a second?
Second, Di.
Diana Ryle, second. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We declare Phil Curry elected. Thank you very much, Phil.
It's easy to get a job here.
Now we have the treasurer's position, which is vacant. I call for nominations for treasurer.
I nominate Denise Goldstein.
Do we have a seconder?
Yep.
Who's that?
John Oliver.
John Oliver. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Do we have any other nominations? No. I then declare Denise Goldstein elected. Well done, Denise.
Thank you, everyone.
Well done.
And now we come to the position of secretary. Do we have a nomination?
I'll nominate Stacey Berkman.
Do we have a seconder?
Yes, Jill Rathel.
Jill Rathel.
Mine, that's right.
Do we have any further nominations?
No.
Okay, then I therefore declare Stacey Berkman elected as secretary. Thank you very much, Stacey.
Well done,
Thank you,
Stacey.
Stacey.
Thanks, everyone.
And now we come to the committee, and I call for nominations for the committee. Do we have any nominations?
Chris
Can I
Frith?
be on the committee again, Christine
Christine.
Frith?
That's a specialist job, Christine. Soldiers Avenue rep, so you'll be a shoo-in for that.
I'd like to nominate Jill Rathel.
Oh, okay.
So are you prepared to accept that, Jill?
As a committee representative, yes.
Thank you. That's excellent. Any other nominations?
Rob Keeping?
So there's a nomination for Rob Keeping.
Second,
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Rob nominated
And any
Rob.
further nominations?
For Di Ryle.
So Diana Ryle, are you prepared to be a committee member?
yes, thanks, Peter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Welcome.
Congratulations.
much. Do we?
Yes, congratulations.
And then do we have any further nominations for committee members?
John Oliver.
John Oliver. John, are you keen?
I am.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you very much. That's welcome. So we have all of those people nominated as for committee. That's Christine Frith, Diana Ryle, Rob Keeping, John Oliver, and Jill Rathel. Do we have any further nominations? Okay. Thank you very much. I think I take that there are no further nominations. So I declare all of those people elected.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I would like to take the opportunity to deliver a brief president's report, and it will be around 5 or 6 areas which the Friends of Freshwater have been closely involved. That is urban planning, which is the way in which we started. So when we started 10 years ago, we started in response to very poor urban planning that was happening in Freshwater Village, and the community was quite alarmed by what was happening, and a group of us came together at that moment and harnessed a group of probably in the order of 1,000 people to protest against a particular development. That showed us at that time that there was a gross inadequacy in terms of urban planning for Freshwater, particularly when it was going to be subject to a large-scale development. So we came together and we formed then the Friends of Freshwater, and we had our first annual general meeting, ironically, at the Harbour Beach Hotel, and we have been meeting there as an annual general meeting in October, more or less ever since, for the last decade. And now I think there's a handful of organisations on the Northern Beaches that are similar to the Friends of Freshwater in terms of their longevity and in terms of their frequency of meeting. So that's been a great thing. So that in 2019, all of the significant development applications in Freshwater have been scrutinised or been the subject of submissions by the Friends of Freshwater. And we've forged a really good relationship with planning and development such that they understand where we're coming from on a lot of these issues. So our approach has become more sophisticated over the years. We've also been concerned at and probably we're the only group that would be with the ability of the community to notify in terms of submissions, and for the spread of public consultation to be much more wider than I think local government wants. So, for instance, in a particular submission, we found that only 10 local neighbours had been advised of the fact that the DA was lodged, and none of the the period for it had been reduced from a month to 2 weeks, which meant that you had to be really on the ball to actually know that a DA was being lodged. And then also we've found that the experts don't get a chance to, that is the experts within council, don't get a chance to put up their specialist opinions until after the submissions by the general community have been lodged. So the general community just don't get a chance to see and to ride off the back of such expert opinions. So there's quite a few things that only an organisation such as the Friends of Freshwater would be able to pick up on those sorts of things. In terms of highlights, one particular highlight was the Beach Reserves Master Plan, which we've been working on with council for some time, and particularly that master plan relates to the number of reserves that we have impacting on our beaches and our surrounds around the beaches. So and there's quite a significant implementation of capital projects associated with that. So we're working very closely with council on that, and that's been a very, very good thing. You should know that there's also a COVID summer action plan, and Trish Cheney's here tonight, and she's essentially coordinating that action plan, which involves gatherings of 30, and also the increased density of people on the beaches. We anticipate at Freshwater Beach that at high tide in summer we'll have 3,000 people on the beach, and on average on a Saturday or Sunday we'll have 4,000. Now that makes us one of the most popular beaches in Sydney, and it will present a range of challenges. Council is initiating COVID safety ambassadors, volunteers to patrol the beach to make sure that social distancing is in place. But from our point of view, we are very concerned that the public toilets and amenities will just not be able to cope with 4,000 people on the beach at any one time, given the fact that the current facilities are fairly run down and inadequate. So we've asked council to install temporary portaloos and things of that kind just to assist the general public. And while I'm on toilets, might I say that I think we're the only group that is even remotely interested in public toilets. And fortunately, in Jacker Park, we have been campaigning for the last 8 years for a public toilet in Jacker Park, and we managed to convince council that a workers' shed, which was not used, could be converted into a public toilet. And that's the only way we climbed above 30 years of demand for new public toilets. And this year, in 2020, we saw that public toilet being opened. And I think the local community who use that park are very, very grateful that that's happened. It's already incredibly well utilised, but it also begs the question that there's no effective public toilet in Freshwater Village. There is one, but you wouldn't want to go in it tonight because it's not got a roof on it.
Oh.
And up until recently, it had no hand hygiene in the men's toilet. So fortunately, that's been rectified, and thanks Trish Cheney for facilitating that. But we're expecting that that particular outdated amenity will be upgraded in the near future. We also are intent on contributing to the Northern Beaches public space vision and design. And again, we come from the perspective of Freshwater, and our concern is in respect of streets that have no trees, because part of the public space priorities are for more trees on streets. And as you know, we've been campaigning for a number of years on the provision of street trees for Moore Road, which is the main street down to the beach, but it has no trees on it, which is really unusual, given that the street immediately north of it, Kalura Avenue, has heritage listed trees. So that particular public space plan will also involve safe pedestrian movement, shared linking of pedestrian and cycle pathways, public art, and trying to make various parts of the community more lively and energetic, and also water sensitive urban design. So there's quite scope in Freshwater for that sort of thing to occur, which is really, really tremendous. We are quite concerned about the community amenities, and I don't think organisations other than us in Freshwater are really actively campaigning on specific amenities. We would like to see McKillop Park upgraded, particularly in respect of the green space opportunities that emerge from the diggers' removal of their eastern car park, which now can be green spaced. We want to see the McKillop Park lookout to be a lookout that can be good for whale watching. I was there the other day, and whales were passing by less than 100 metres from the lookout, and there was quite a crowd attracted to it. And increasingly, with the whale population moving up and down the coast, that will be a great vantage point for that sort of thing. It will also be on the coastal pathway, so that McKillop Park lookout is very much a point of good options for a whole range of things, including public art. And I understand that council has recently voted on $100,000 for a piece of public art at McKillop Park lookout. We are also one of the few groups that are applying for grants and we have a great opportunity in that regard, because we're a not-for-profit, we're a community organisation, we have an ABN number, we have a good committee that meets on a regular basis, our accounts are audited, and so on and so forth. And as a result, we tend to be successful with grants because that's the way things operate. We've had grants for Soldiers Avenue and Jacker Park, for Undercliff Reserve, for the community garden, and currently we're working off a $5,000 grant from the Commonwealth Department of Science, Industry and Environment, and we're using that to good effect. Just today, we succeeded in getting a grant of $10,000 from another Commonwealth Government agency, the Department of Veteran Affairs, through their saluting their service, which will then go to further work on refurbishing Soldiers Avenue. Our objective with Soldiers Avenue is, with other organisations in the community, is to make that a very, very prominent part of commemoration for the whole of Sydney and New South Wales. We got, as Denise previously mentioned, and I won't labour it, we got a grant of $30,000 from Northern Beaches Council for a number of artworks, which we actually used the money to good effect. And then we had an Aboriginal piece of art in the village, and we also have a piece of wild art, surfing art in the village as well. And they've been put to good use. We found that one of the arts pieces of art was affected by graffitists, and thankfully council was able to rectify that, which has been very good. I want to thank the new members that have been enrolling in the last few days, and I hope will find our organisation to their liking. We have a membership opportunity through our new website, which we've developed. There's a membership tab on that, and people can really easily renew their membership or become members through that membership tab on the website. So that's been a great thing. You can either pay directly into an account at the Freshwater Community Bank, or you can do it just by pressing the membership tab, and it will give you an option that way. I'd particularly like to thank the returning officer, Sean, for coming in tonight. We had anticipated that John Thorpe would be doing it as he usually does, but that's not to be. So thank you very much, Sean, for your effort in coming to that situation. And I'd also like to thank every member of our executive for the extensive work they've done. It's been fantastic. I'm very appreciative of the commitment and that sort of thing, particularly in our areas of expertise. So we've had Rob Keeping doing the webmaster work and all of the activities that are associated with it. We've had Phil Curry with his extensive expertise and gimlet eye on DAs. No developer can get past him, which is good. And we've had the finances really well managed, and people have been putting in, and particularly Stacey Berkman, who's had to do a lot of work with the secretary's role. So thank you all for all of that, and I can't really express my appreciation too much. Do we have any questions that people might want to ask on my report? I noticed that we have some representatives here from the community garden. Thank you, Michelle Doherty, and thank you, Catherine Berkovich, and thank you, Roxy Serafin. And we also have some of my erstwhile companions who like to pull out weeds. We're a specialist type. And thank you, Michael Vanderfield and Kathy Wagner, particularly. We've enjoyed one another's company and managed to turn a decrepit reserve into something that's a bit more visible to look at. So thank you very much for all of that. Okay.
Is there going to be any discussion in regard to DAs or development? Or?
Phil, do you have any discussion to make on some of the DAs, particularly?
Only if people have some questions about specific DAs, but currently there are some disputed DAs, particularly 50 Lawrence Street and also one Undercliff Road. And those are being held up in council because the developers have not done the right thing. So we're expecting that the DAs, as they're stated currently, will not go ahead, but they'll need significant amendment. And I think that's a good thing, because those two developments in particular are not in keeping with what we would want in Freshwater. So I can answer any questions people have if they wish on specifics. But other than that, we're keeping on top of the DA situation and working well with council in terms of feedback, etc.
Phil, what was interesting with 50 Lawrence Street? 50 Lawrence Street is a development application that of what's known as the Robinson Building at present, and it's proposed to be demolished and 11 apartments and 2 shops to be placed in its stead, and it masses across the whole site. We were very fortunate to get 39 submissions from most of our members, actually they're mostly our members, for that particular DA, and that's the sort of thing we can do extremely well. That is mount a campaign on a particular issue. So, for instance, when we wanted to get a footpath installed on the northern side of Soldiers Avenue, and council did a brilliant job of doing that. But once we submitted to what's called the walking plan, and we had 250 submissions for that. That's the sort of thing we can do as an organisation. It's really, really, really excellent the way in which the community responds to those sorts of things. And long may that be. Okay, anyone else got any other questions they want to ask of the President's report? Okay.
I'd just like to make one comment, and that is thank Peter very much for his work. He's the driving force behind this organisation and does a hell of a lot of work, including the Duke and other informative newsletters, etc., that go out. He's always working in the garden and doing all the things in Soldiers Avenue. So he's the biggest asset to the Friends of Freshwater, and we thank him for it.
Yeah, I'd like to second that too as well. Rob keeping here, I mean, from the point of view, I feel like we're a support system for Peter, and we're all happy and eager to do it. So yeah, well done. Thank you, Peter.
Well, just can I debunk that somewhat by saying that you know, we have nearly 50 community gardeners operating 38 plots, and they are very, very active in developing that garden. Likewise, can I say that in Undercliff Reserve we have now a team of 7 working on that, and they are very, very diligent. And can I say in Soldiers Avenue, likewise, we have people like Wendy Machin and Christine Frith, who are here tonight, who put in a lot of effort for that, particularly in writing histories about the soldiers involved and doing other things. So let's not disregard the fantastic effort that those people put in.
No one is disregarding that, Peter, but it's hard for them to say no to you.
And the important thing to note is that the organisation is a totally volunteer organisation. So if we get a grant, and we've got upwards of $340,000 in grants since 2014, if we get a grant, not 1 cent of it is spent on admin. So here we're finding in the political sphere with sports rorts and grants given that any amount of admin costs are pegged onto those sorts of things. Whereas in our case, 100% of the grant goes to what's asked for, and more often than not, we implement it, which is fantastic.
And we buy our own coffee.
And we buy our own coffee. That's right.
Phil, I'm sorry, Peter, could I just say that as an individual, and I would probably echo the thoughts of everyone else that are involved, it's an absolute honour to be doing our part in whatever our jobs are in the overarching community work that we do, is just it's made a huge difference in my life, and I know in Christine's as well, since we've both retired. And it's so lovely to work with everyone. All the people that we work for are just delightful, and it's certainly enriched our individual lives as well as the community.
Okay, thank you very much. Now,
Well said.
Yeah.
I should just add a community garden, and Michelle Doherty and Roxy Serafin and Catherine Borkovich may well want to comment as well. But the garden has morphed into an area of sustainability modelling, and so all of the things that we're doing in respect of that garden are now the flavour of the month across Australia in terms of sustainability. And so we're doing in miniature almost what the society should be probably doing in a much larger scale. So we're in terms of composting and plant propagation, beekeeping, worm farming, all of the sorts of things that are the essence of of environmental activity we're doing in that garden, and it's quite interesting. You should probably note that that some of the local government authorities are actually very much supporting these initiatives and want more of it. It's only restricted by the fact that the limitations of green space to do it. So that's been a great thing for us. Okay, have we got any items of general business or any further comments that people want to make?
Peter, I wouldn't mind saying something on behalf of John Thorpe, if I can.
Yes.
I think he made an understanding and an undertaking with you that he would put a perpetual, not a grant, but a perpetual donation to the Friends of Freshwater. And I'd like to say that his undertaking with me is that I would fulfill that on his behalf. So, and that's because he believes that what you've done for our community is, and that's you as in the whole of Friends of Freshwater, has been amazing. And I'd like to say thank you for making the area that he lives in and our family and all our families so much better. And I'd like to say that I'll undertake that takes place as long as I'm alive anyway, as well as he is too. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean. That's
Thanks, Sean.
very much appreciated.
Unbelievably generous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Unbelievably generous, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Do we have any other comments to make? You might notice that last year John Thorpe provided a donation of $2,000, and that went to what we are intending to do with publishing a book of World War I stories of soldiers from Freshwater and their families, and we now can say and their families because Wendy Machen has identified those families, and we are hoping to publish that as in book form. So that's part of the objective, Sean. That's what we're intending to do.
Yeah. Great.
Can I comment two things? One is moving forward with maybe the next round of veterans further up the road of Soldiers Avenue, and also thank Trish for her Trish Cheney for being so involved and helping us navigate some of the council issues around what has affected the community most, and say thank you.
Are you still there, Trish?
Yes, I am. If I can just say congratulations to you, Peter, and to the rest of the committee. for your appointments again this year, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to work with you over the next 12 months and beyond.
Thanks, Trish.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Trish. It's much appreciated. And it's a good linkage.
Can I also say thank you to everybody that meets on Wednesday morning? It's been an absolute joy and a privilege, and hilariously funny at times.
Well, yeah, Denise does all the joke making, so
Not really, but it's been hilariously funny and most enjoyable.
okay. We're getting off track here a bit, but thank you.
Peter, I think, sorry, I don't want to put Michelle on the spot, but I think I saw your hand up. Did you?
Thanks, Stacey. I just was wondering, and we joined a little bit late, so apologies if you've already said something about this and we missed it. If there was any update from the Friends of Freshwater submission to Council about the cycle pathway that's supposed to go up through the garden.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Miguel. Thank you very much. Miguel has been busy being an integral part of constructing a plant propagation structure, which you saw a photo of, and that's largely his handiwork. So thank you very much, Miguel, for that. There was a lot of consternation in the community about a shared cycle and pedestrian pathway of 2.5 metres width that is moving from Queenscliff Bridge all the way to Freshwater Village via a number of streets. And a lot of the community was a bit concerned about that. There was a proposal that as Michelle is alluding to, that a part of the community garden be excised to expand the pathway that runs beside it to 2.5 metres. We, as the Friends of Freshwater, came up with an alternative proposal, which I think has attracted, the attention of the propagators of the shared pathway, that the pathway wouldn't use what is proposed, but would join up with the existing 2.5 metre pathway that extends from Manly Village to Warringah Mall along Pittwater Road, and it would simply leave or depart from the Pittwater Road and go up the hill at Oliver Street along the eastern side of that. The eastern side of Oliver Street has a very narrow footpath and a parking along that edge, and then a cycle path outside of the parking. We are proposing that the pathway be extended to 2.5 metres, and that the bicycle path be included in that shared pathway, and that the car parking be outside of that. We have had very good support from council on that, and they actually think it's a creditable option because they were also planning the Northern Beaches cycle path to go in that direction. So we may find that that may be a way of overcoming the community concern, which currently has two big petitions, plus I think objections from 150 to 200 people for that. We were also concerned with the proposed pathway that it would actually result in the removal of street trees, which are quite well established and well liked in Dowling Street. So there was that concern. So that issue is progressing. Council has consulted the community and will go away and work out something more. We would hope to be working hand in glove with them on that particular initiative. Okay, anyone?
Does that answer your question, Michelle?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good.
Okay, anyone got any other questions? It's an opportunity.
Looks like we're good.
Looks like we've got a handle on this. So thank you very much for your time. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, Peter, if I could just butt in, I think you should mention the changes in the membership amount.
Okay.
Now, June, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's once a year.
membership of the Friends of Freshwater is due now. So anyone that knows any other people who have been members of the Friends of Freshwater who want to join, please urge them to join now. We previously had a fee of $5, which was ridiculously low, and we were getting PayPal to administer that, and they were taking 1.5% of the $5. So we've actually taken another option and moved the whole of our membership directly to eWay, which takes us to the Freshwater Community Bank. So we're in fact continuing to bank with the Freshwater Community Bank, and all your membership fees of $20 will go to Freshwater Community Bank. I should also add that for community gardeners, the way to pay your rental of $70 is via our website rather than directly into a particular account. The money will go to that account, but we should be using the website and the membership tab on the website for that purpose.
If I could just butt in a little bit here at the moment and just to explain a little bit in regard to what the process has been in regard to the new website. I think we put a payment gateway into this thing so that we can help people to do this, and so we can manage what we need to do is to keep a track of who is a financial member. Where one of the things that's really important about the work that we do, because we're registered and because we apply for grants, is that we need to record the number of financial members, and they do ask that information of us. And in the past, we haven't known what that situation was. And in fact, there's been some embarrassing faux pas in regard to that. And we're trying to fix that. And one of the issues was the website coming together and how we do it. And there's a lot of issues. We can make it much more complicated, but we've opted to say, okay, the memberships for new members and renewable members is due now, and it's an annual thing. We're not discouraging people to join at any particular time during the year. That we encourage. We want that to occur, but all memberships become due now. And the reason that we're doing that is because, frankly, if we're going to add anything, these are donations. You know, the website has to, because we collect money, we have to make a lot of statements in regard to, you know, the rights of people giving money to us. That's by law. We abide by that. We have no issues with that. But to make it any more complicated and make memberships, it's we give everything away. It's just really a donation. So we appreciate anything that happens. And if we make it more complicated, it's just going to make, we're going to have to spend more money on the website in terms of back-end software and stuff like that. So that's the explanation that I'd like to give in regard to that. So we're hoping to improve it. The website is a piece to communicate with. We're there's news information that's there, and we're trying to use, you know, the annual general meeting is recorded there. There's the Duke goes back quite a number of years, so you can go and, if you want to go back a little bit in history about what's been happening in the village, you can look at past Dukes on the website. A lot of information is gone off it with new news in terms of community news, but we're adding more and more. And of course, we're trying to link it with Facebook more and more too. So a lot of the information that will refer back to the website from Facebook as well. So anyway, from my point of view, I hope you enjoyed the new website. It's been a little bit of a gestation period, and it's now here and it's still evolving. So thank you.
Rob,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
could I just ask a question?
Yes.
You know, you and I had a bit of a tussle trying to get me back in again
Yes,
for
sure.
various reasons. Anyhow, it's all happened. But I was just thinking, in the past, I always got a copy of the Duke, which sort of dropped off.
Yeah.
To get a copy of the Duke, do you have to go through that membership ritual that you've just explained, and be a financial member?
And that's another issue. You know, the Duke is circulated to a much wider amount than you know, we have actually financial membership. So on last count, just from the website, there were only 105 financial members. Yet we mail out to over 500, nearly 600 people on the mailing list. So that's not the case. What we're trying to do is we're trying to ask those people that are receiving the newsletter that, you know, would they like to become financial members to assist us in what we're trying to do. So yes, there has been some problems in the past, because I think we've collected cash, we've collected checks. We're not doing that anymore. We're trying to do it so that everybody that logs in will get a membership from now on. So, yeah, everybody's on the list that we know of, and we're adding to it all the time. And that's one of mine and Stacey's roles, and Peter's. He's very much involved with that too, to make sure who's on the mailing list.
Yes, Rob, it's just one of the reasons why I brought that up is that we have an elderly gentleman that just lives down the road from me, and he loves getting his copy of the Duke. He's not able to get out. And you know, I don't think he would be a member. So that was one of the reasons.
If there are any circumstances like that, just let us know, and we'll make sure that he's on it. Peter manages the list, really. And so if there's anybody that officially says that they're off the list, I'll eagerly put them on without any question.
I'll let you know if I find anyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Here's Peter again.
I just should add something to that in the sense that we have on our mailing list, we have 550 people, of which almost all of those people at one stage were financial. So our objective is to actually get 550 people financial. And likewise, I should add that the Duke is shared by a lot of people, and we get an insight into that through Facebook, and Facebook we've had upwards of 2,000 likes on Facebook, and anyone knows how Facebook operates. It's all about likes, and so that's quite a big reading capacity for that particular newsletter. And in the absence of news from the Manly Daily behind a paywall, reliable news for a local community is very, very important.
Definitely.
Okay. Any other questions?
There was one question on there from Amanda Kivovich about the village looking a bit sad, and I think we should just let her know that Chris Zarkos has sold his holdings on the southern side of Lawrence Street, including his dozen or so empty shops, to an eastern suburbs developer. So we're waiting to see what will eventuate from that transaction, and we're hopeful that it will improve that area dramatically, including relationships between landlords and tenants.
Yes, exactly, Phil. And the Freshwater Village has been really badly impacted by dodgy developers. And I mean, Chris Zarkos has had 2 or 3 DAs, which he's never followed through with. And we've put a lot of energy into those DAs. So now that he's sold, those DAs will lapse, I assume. We probably have to confront another set of DAs for that particular site. Likewise, I should mention that the site of the Freshwater development in Albert Street, which is intended to house a supermarket, has been the subject of dodgy developers for a long time, and we understand that the developer who developed that has now gone into liquidation, and there's a lot of legal issues associated with it. So it just seems to be dragging on, and we don't. The net effect of that is that the village and the community doesn't have a supermarket. Okay, anyone got any further questions? We're all prepared to answer anything we can to the best of our ability. Okay, well, I think we'll leave it at that then. Declare the meeting closed. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And please don't hesitate to get in touch with us if you have any issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Peter.
you.
Well
Thank
done.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Thanks, Rob. Bye.